Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog. Happy New Year and thank you for joining me in 2022. I'd like to talk about New Year's resolutions in this vlog, whether you have any, what mine are, and how we go about sticking to them. But before I do that, I've got just a couple of favours that I'd like to ask you guys first of all. Firstly, if you like this video, then please remember to give it a thumbs up just below the video if you can, and also consider subscribing as well. And then the other two favours I'd like to ask you, perhaps you could put a comment in the comments box underneath the video which explains to me what you like about my photography, whether you've made New Year's resolutions yourself, do you believe in them, just basically anything to get a conversation around photography started. And the last thing, if you could possibly share this on your social media sites as well, please, that'd be great. All the things like that, sharing, liking, subscribing and commenting, they all help the channel to move forward in the future, so it'd be great if you could do that. Thank you. I mentioned New Year's resolutions. I've got a couple myself this year. I've made a list of about 3 or 4 actually, and I'd like to talk to you about those. But whilst I'm doing that, I'm back in a location I know very well in Sutton Park, and I've come to a spot here to take a couple of shots. It's a spot I've been to a few times, but I always like to go back to the same locations a few times every year just to capture the shot in different conditions. It's quite interesting and you really get to know the landscape and the way everything looks. So that's that. Also, I'd just like to take a few photos while I'm out, just for the sake of taking a few, really. They may become portfolio images, or they may become images that are really popular in the future, I don't know. But I just thought it'd be nice to get out, blow a few cobwebs away and take a few photos. I hope you like these first couple of images that I'm just about to show you now, and I'm going to move on and find another location, and then I'll start telling you all about my New Year's resolutions. So I've just taken a couple of shots just along this brook here. I think that looks quite nice. I come here quite often again, and I've had a shot straight along the brook, but also there's another shot just behind me, a couple of trees here at either side, just at the side of the brook, one right on the very edge of the brook and one kind of dipping into the water a little bit, and they look quite nice as a portrait orientation as well. So I've taken those, and I think they look alright on the back of the camera, but we'll have to wait and see. My first 2 New Year's resolutions, the first one really leads into the second one, and the first one is that I'd like to set up a website for my landscape photography this year, and there's a few options I've been looking at of how to do that. Quite a lot of them require that you have a subscription to a monthly plan. It's not terribly expensive and it's certainly worth doing, and it just means that I would then be able to start selling prints, start selling merchandise, start providing one-to-one and group tutorials and workshops, and these are all things that I'd like to do in the new year. Having a website would also allow me to have slightly better connections with you guys. It's all very well and good connecting via social media, but everybody's got different apps that they use and different connections that they make. So a website gives me that option to connect better with you guys. And like I say, the second of my New Year's resolutions is to start selling prints and workshops and so on and various other merchandise through my website and sell things to do with my photography. And really the best way to do that again is to have a website, and a website leads really well into that. So that's my first two New Year's resolutions. Comment below what you think of those, and let me know if you've got your own resolutions. In the meantime, I'm going to go and find another spot, and I'll talk you through the rest of my New Year's resolutions. I've just walked up a path that I've never walked up before. I didn't know where it was going to take me, but it's brought me up towards an area that I've been to before, but just from a slightly different angle, along a slightly different path, that's all. On the way through it was quite muddy, but I thought I may as well take the plunge and see where it takes me, and now I know it's quite a nice little spot that I found just here. There's just this little bit of woodland at the edge of a car park. I don't know if you can see the car park over my shoulder just there. And then I'm in this little bit of woodland not too far away from it. And I noticed that because of where the sun was, over in that direction, there was a little bit of side light on some of these trees behind me. So I've had to stop here and get a quick shot. And I literally do mean quick, because it's quite late in the afternoon now and the sun's dropping fairly quickly, so I'm going to lose the light at some point. I knew that if I waited too long I probably wouldn't have a chance to take this shot. It's a portrait shot at 70mm f4, and I'm focused on the tree in the middle, and hopefully you like that shot as well. My last two New Year's resolutions are fairly standard, to be quite honest with you. The first one involves upgrading my kit, and the second one involves travelling a bit more and getting out a bit more and trying to do a few more things around different parts of the country. Last year, back in June of 2021, I bought the Canon EOS RP camera body. Now it's a mirrorless camera with an RF mount on the front of the body, which means that I have to use RF mount lenses to go with it. Well, I've previously been using EF mount lenses which don't fit directly to the front of the RP, so I've had to use a small adapter which allows me to adapt EF lenses to the RP body, which is great because it means I've been able to continue using the lenses that I've got. But over the course of this year I'd like to upgrade some of those lenses to the RF mount rather than EF mount, so that eventually I can get rid of all the EF mount lenses and use the RF mount instead, and that way I can also get rid of the adapter that I'm using, and then as I upgrade the camera again in the future, in 2 or 3 years time, whenever that might be, I'll still be able to keep the same lenses and carry on using RF mount lenses. That's something I'd really like to do over the course of this year. However, the cost of some of those lenses is quite expensive, so it may be something that I begin doing this year, which I should be able to, but also I continue that further on into next year, the year after, and so on. So it may be that to start with I start getting some of the cheaper lenses in the RF mount, and try and work my way up that way. That's the way most people tend to do things. I also mentioned that I'd like to start travelling around a bit more. Over the past 18 months to 2 years or so, I've been doing quite a lot of landscape photography, pretty much in my local area, areas where I can get to very easily, very quickly, and just capture a few hours of photos while I'm out. It can of course be a good thing to keep revisiting the same locations on a regular basis at various times throughout the year. Like I said earlier, you do tend to capture the same scene at different times of the year and you get a completely different photo, different lighting, different weather conditions, leaves have fallen off trees, different things have been exposed to you and different things have been hidden. So it's a great exercise to do, to keep going back to the local area, but also it means that I do kind of get into a rut and don't do anything different or new. So I want to try and explore some new areas, start travelling around a little bit more, go to different parts of the country and possibly spend a few days away at a time, taking photos in different areas, purely and simply just to expand my portfolio really, and help to create more engaging content for you guys. All of that does require a little bit of planning and thinking about and doing a bit of research, but it also requires a little bit of financial planning and logistical planning as well, because obviously if I'm staying in a few places overnight, it means I've got to have somewhere to bed down for the night, make sure I've got a roof over my head, and so on. But also I've got to make sure that I can actually get to and from these places, so the travelling is also an issue. I think it's good practice, however, to get these things recorded, written down at the start of the year, so that I can actually start making some sort of plan as the year goes on. It may be that some of these things take a little while longer than just this year, but the plan is to get started this year and make some kind of move, start moving forward, try to move things on for the future. That's the idea anyway. So hopefully you'll come along for that journey with me. It'd be great to have you, and hopefully we can get some great content in the future. I think that's it for today's vlog. I'm going to leave it here. I'm losing the light quite a bit now, quite quickly, so I don't know how much more time I've got to capture my photos. I may still decide to capture one or two more on the way back, but obviously that depends on how well I keep the light now, between now and getting back to where I need to be. So if you've enjoyed this vlog, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, anything you like, and I will see you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.